Hi everyone. Sorry y'all. Happy Friday. Hi. It's your girl Winn here. Checking in. First of all, I want to say happy Friday. Um, I mean, what's better to do on a Friday than to sit and have a conversation with me? So this is your girl Winn. This is the Friday social segment with Winn. My co-host Patience is not here today. She's celebrating some good things that's happening in her life. So I want to give a shout out to my girl today, Patience. It's Patience's birthday this weekend. So Patience, if you're watching from the inner circle and your girl Winn, I want to say happy early birthday to you from us, and we would be seeing her next Friday. Right, next Friday, Patient will be joining the social segment. She'll be back with her beautiful inputs and her beautiful opinion, of course, that everybody we appreciate and we love having on the show. So tonight, no Patience, but you're going to be hanging with your girl. You're going to be hanging with me. I have a topic tonight. I think you might see it like it's already scrolling on the screen. I do have a topic tonight that has been on my heart, and I would love to have a conversation with you all. Just bear with me for a second. I'm just going to share the video, and then we can go from there. Right. So here we are. Okay. So Patience is not here. We're wishing her a happy birthday. But also, I just want to drop some few housekeeping before we get the ball rolling tonight. We're only here for an hour. But tonight we're going to be talking about the navigating the changes that comes with friendship, right? I think a lot of the time, we're friends with people for a longevity of time, and then after a while, things change. So we're going to be talking about tonight how to navigate those changes that come about in friendships as we get older. But tonight, before I get into that topic, I just want to reference back. We're the Inner Circle podcast. We are here Monday through Friday. Each day of the week is different segments. They have like social segments where here I am. We have Monday segment, Tuesdays, Wednesdays about business. So if you have a business and you would like to join the segment one of those days, please reach out and we can definitely get you connected with the president and to get the ball rolling. But anyways, hi. So welcome to Social Segment Win tonight. We are going to be talking about navigating the changes that come in friendships, right? As we get older, like I stated previously, things change, right? I think change is good, and change should always be welcome and embraced. But sometimes change can be hard, right? If we're being honest tonight on this show the fit. Oh, I don't have any fit. My shirt just says I matters. But change is good, right? Change is good. And I want us to talk about that tonight. As we get older, people be like, oh, this happened. But I want to talk about the changes that we experience as adults when it comes to friendship. So tonight's social segment, we're going to be navigating changes within friendships. That is my topic. If you're watching this live, join the comments, say hi to your girl, and let's have a conversation, right? Social segments are here to talk, right? I'm here to talk to you and you talk to me. There's somebody in my comments saying hi, how are you, Joseph? Good seeing you. Join the segment tonight. I would love to talk about like the changes that we see in when friendships are changing, right? So we're talking about changes within friendship. And if we're all being honest on this app today, nobody likes change. I don't know about y'all, but I hate change. Anybody in my life knows like Edwina don't like change. I'm not a change person. I'm very like I'm stuck in my ways. Pros and cons, of course. I love things to stay the same, but we grow through changes, right? I think that's the thing a lot of us need to keep in mind is that change is good because it helps us grow. Right? If we don't change, what is the essence of us growing if we don't change? So that's the beauty of change. So change is beautiful because it allows us to grow. If we can't change, then we don't grow, right? And I don't know about you, even though I don't like change, I also like to grow as a person. That's one thing I think I love to see is growth. I feel like as you get older, whether like as your age increase or just in general, you want to see growth within yourself. And that growth only comes about when you're willing to change, right? Or when you're willing to accept change when it's before you. So tonight, I just want to take this time, this 1 hour social segment, and let's navigate those changes that come with friendships. It's a beauty to have like longevity in friendships. It's a beauty to have friendships that is like 30 years, 18 years, 10 years, 5 years, right? It's a beauty to have those friendships. So, there will be a moment of grief or sadness that when there's a change that have to take form, that is going to happen, right? There will be a moment of grief and sadness that is attached to that change. So I just wanted to navigate that today, and like, what are some healthy things that we can embrace as we're going through these changes, right? Like, as we're humans, so we're not bound to stay the same. We're supposed to change, and I will hope you will love to change, for the bettering of yourself and also the friendships you find yourself in. So that's what we're talking about tonight. If you're in the comments, join the conversation, and let's just have a sincere chat about change. I stated previously, if you know me, I don't like change. I struggle with it. It's one of my like struggles, but I try to make the best of it, right? I try to make the best of it. I think I only like change when I have control. Okay, somebody asked a question. They said, what if I feel like I'm outgrowing my friend? And to be honest, not jive, sometimes that's okay, right? I think sometimes we got to understand, like, it's okay that we can outgrow people, right? I think sometimes because we have been friends with people for so long, we feel like, oh, I must keep that friend, but we have to grow as individual. I think the people in our lives should be able to add value to us. So if you outgrown a friend, that means maybe there's no value being added, right? And I think that is okay too, right? It's like there's no beef, there's no hate, but it's more like, hey, I don't see value in this friendship. Hi, J Love. You say, hey, do you think it's about learning conflict resolution skill learned in childhood and communication as well? Oh, J Love, are you talking about like changes in friendships, or are you talking about, I'm just trying to get understanding. Because you said, do you think it's about learned conflict resolution skills, learning childhood and communication skill as well? Well, I think with the power of change, if people are not really open to change, I think it could be like from the childhood too. Because sometimes if there's a lot of things happening in that person's childhood that just cause a lot of corruption or changes, people don't like change when they get older. It's like, no, I like this thing to stay the same. Like, I don't want it to move around. So I could see where you could say it could be a learned skill from childhood. It does have a lot of possibility in that light to be in that criteria. But I think as adults in general, we change. I mean, we get a year older every year. Our hair either get gray or it falls out, or we learn a new skill. We learn maybe how to set healthy boundaries. Maybe we never had those. So those are all ways that we change as people. So it could be a learned skill from childhood, or we can learn it in our adulthood as well. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm just going to reference this part again on not jive. In regards to outgrowing your friend, it's okay to outgrow people. It is okay. Don't let nobody tell you different. It is okay. I've seen people that have been friends for decades, and eventually the friendship is no longer headed in that same direction. And that's okay, right? You just have to respectfully say, hey, I love you, but I don't think we're heading the same directions in this friendship, and be okay with that. So yes, it's okay to outgrow your friend. If you are in that phase of life with that friend, I will encourage you to just communicate that to her or them. Let them know, like, hey, it's nothing that you did. I just feel like in this season or this part of my life, we're no longer heading in the same direction. Because friendship is about compatibility in some ways. You don't have to be exactly the same, but you have to be compatible in certain criteria, right? So if you feel like, okay, me and this person is no longer aligning, or we're no longer compatible in certain areas anymore, that means we have outgrown each other, and that's okay. And that's okay, right? That's okay. Whoever is that, hi, hope you're doing well, all that good stuff. But yeah, if you're just joining my live tonight, we're just talking about how to navigate friendships, right? We're talking about the change in friendship. Not jive. You're welcome. I hope I answered that question. well. But if you're joining the segment tonight, we're talking about navigating friendships and like the changes that comes with it. Okay, J Love, thank you for it. He says, I heard we're neurologically wired to resist to change, even when it's beneficial to us, especially when it comes to a place to learn and conflict resolute in childhood. That is absolutely true, J Love. You're right with that. And it's hard, but therapy and just learning other ways to be in different environment becomes helpful as well. Yes, yes. So that's the beauty, and that's the beauty of change, right? We're already wired to not really want to change because that's how our brain is. It's like, no, 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 this is gonna cause commotion, this is gonna be bad. This is like the brain produce all of these scenarios of why that change is not good, right? That brain would tell you like 12 different things. Like, no, don't change. You're not gonna progress. Changing is not good. Like it produced all of these, I would say like false narratives, right? False narratives. So that's why a lot of the time people are so scared of change. So even when they see like their friendship changing, it's like, I'm losing my friend. I'm losing my friend. It should be like a good thing, right? But because the way we're wired biologically, it's hard to accept it, right? And then a lot of the time friendship don't survive certain changes. I've seen, like I said previously, there are some friendships that do end because it's a change and both people don't know how to navigate that change, right? It's like, hey, I don't know this person no more. I don't know this person no more. So instead of us taking time to relearn our friends, right, we're so stuck on that old version of them. And this is where, because we're so wired to have this mindset when it comes to change, it's so hard to accept it. But you're so right. It is hard, but therapy and just learning other ways to be in different environments become helpful. That is so true. Like a lot of the time we're so accustomed to the environment in which we grew up, is that when we hear about like switching environments, switching routines, trying something new, is like ooh, it's like a no thank you, right? It's like no thank you. But truth be told, change is not as bad as it look like. You just got to be open and you got to be willing, right, to embrace it. But I think change has a lot of good to it. I know oftentimes when people go through changes when they were younger, it was maybe not too much of a positive aspect, but I think as you get older, you do want to change because that's how you grow, right? That's how you grow. I think I would be scared if I meet a person that don't want to change. Like if they just want to be like the exact same, they want to like respond to issues the same, they want to always just be just the same version of themselves, that would be a little bit scary, right? J Love, if you're watching, I hope you agree. Like that would be scary, right? Imagine having someone in your life that doesn't change, not even like evolved, not even try to be like, like this person where just want better for themselves. So I really thank you, J Love, for your comment. It really means a lot. I think for childhood, I think our childhood lays so much foundation that people don't know. But I think next week we can talk about the impact of childhood on this as a topic, because since you referenced that. But change is good. Please embrace change. I know even me on this app, J Love, I'm going to tell you today, I hate change. Like I hated it when I was growing up. Now I'm okay. I'm okay because it has helped me grow in so many ways that I didn't even think I could grow. Right? But when I was younger, I was the one that resisted change. Oh my Lord. Like I will cry my eyes out, like simply because I have to change something or something didn't go as I scheduled or I like I hoped or I planned, but I just hated it. I was so like, this is ridiculous. This is not gonna work. This is terrible. And my brain will produce all of these scenarios. And I started teaching myself, like, listen, girl, you got to get it together, right? You got to get it together and you got to let this change take place. And listen, since I started embracing change in my life, oh, baby, I feel so good. Okay, so it does. I'm actually learning about this now. It really puts a lot into perspective. Childhood. Yes, yes. Your childhood, I could talk about childhood all day, J Love. If you ever want to talk about childhood, J Love, please inbox me because I could have a whole conversation of one's childhood and the importance of your childhood and how crucial it is. Like it's so crucial that I think parents should treat it like a glass. like a glass. That's like crucial because when it breaks, it affects everything in your adult life. But you wouldn't know it affects everything till you become an adult. And then you see the way how you respond to situations. You see the way how you reflect to things. You see the way how you take accountability to things. You see the way how you are a friend to people. You see the way how you are a partner to people. Like all of those things that you think it don't affect, it does, right? It does. But please, if you're somebody, J Love says, psychopathology. Yes, you hear me say my words, right? Yes, yes. Oh, you're a psych major. That's so sweet. I love that. Okay, we can definitely chat more. Like, yes, I love your comments. They're so good. We could talk more. Like, feel free to like inbox if we're social media friends or colleagues, and like, feel free. Let's talk about it. But childhood is so important, and all of those stems from there. You know what I mean? But change is good. So tonight again, we're navigating the change in friendships. And J Love is saying a lot of the time we are wired to not embrace change because of how we grew up, and it's true. Right? It's true. We're wired to not. Okay. All right. You feel free, and we can chat more, my dear. We're wired not to really embrace change because of the way our brain is set up, and it's true. So that's what make a lot of people are like opposed to change. But I think change is really good because change helps us grow. So when we come to the changes that comes in friendship, is a way of growing with your friend if you allow that change to take place. Right? I think it's beautiful to have friendship for like longevity. It's beautiful to see people friends for like 10 years, 7 years, 5 years, 15. All of those years are so beautiful when I hear people talk about their friendship. But then it also breaks my heart when I see people friendship ended because there's a change that took place. There's a shift. Right, there's a shift. So tonight I just wanted to talk about that shift and letting everybody on this app know if you're currently in a season with a friend or in a friendship that is going through a shift, that is going through a season, or maybe somebody got married, somebody had a baby, or somebody have a family, and you're not there yet, and there's a shift in that person. I want you to think about like the beauty of that change that is taking place for that person, and how you on the other hand can embrace that. Right? That you don't have to end your friendship simply because it's a change that took place in that sisterhood or in that friendship, right? You don't have to call it a halt. You don't have to put a do not disturb sign on it or whatever it is. You don't have to just end that, right? We can navigate it. There's healthy ways that I feel like we can navigate the changes that come in friendships. And I'm just going to talk about like 10 of it today. I wrote it down on my phone, y'all. So if you see me like going in my phone trying to talk, I'm getting the 10 things that we can do to navigate those change in friendships. So the first one I want to talk about is the concept of understanding growth, right? As people, like I stated previously when we started, we should grow, right? We're wired to grow. We're wired to be resistant to change, but we're also wired to grow, right? We grow in height. We grow in age. I mean, we grow in likes and dislikes of certain things. Like I know the things that I used to like when I was 6, I don't like it no more, right? Because change took place. Change took place. Change took place and is literally good, right? So as people, we have to understand growth. Growth must take place. We got to understand that the friend you had when you were 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 may not be the friend you have when you're 11, 12, 13, 14. It may not be the friend you have when you're 15, 16, 17, 18. So every age comes with something, right? So we as people, we got to understand the growth of those things. And we got to understand like that is okay, right? That is okay. When we understand growth, it helps us to embrace change, right? Growth is okay, which make change being okay as well. The second thing is like there's diversity in friendships. I think a lot of the time we limit ourselves as people, right? Oftentimes hear people only friends with like people that they know or people of their kind. There's nothing wrong with that. right? But there's the beauty of friendship is being friends with people that is diverse, right? There's so much diversity that can come in friendship. And when we talk about diversity tonight, we're not just talking about the color of your skin or how you look or what type of ethnic group you're a part of. It could be like even in career field, right? You could be a friend. Like I love being friends with people that are not in the same career path that I am because I like to learn from those people. So that is another way that I embrace that change. Is like, okay, you're not the same job that I do. You do something different, and I'm curious to know what do you do teaching. So when we talk about diversity, it's like it's okay to have friends of the opposite culture that you represent, right? It's okay to have friends that don't look like you in color, skin, or tone, right? It's okay. It's okay to have diversity in that group because it allows you to change as well and also evolve in a positive light, right? So the first tip today to embracing change is understanding the power of growth. And that growth is beautiful, and we can embrace growth. The second thing here we want to talk about is the beauty of diversity in friendships, right? Again, it's okay to expand your horizons when it comes to friendship. You don't just want to limit yourself to, okay, because I am a Liberian, I only want Liberian friends. You're not going to grow. And that's the honest truth. Or because I'm a Caucasian woman, I only want to be friends with women that are Caucasian. Or because I'm a nurse, I only want friends that are nurse. No, you want to have like that diversity in your group because everybody that you're friends with or you're befriending, they have something to offer you, right? They have something to share with you. They have something to add to you. If you guys remember in the beginning of this lives, I talked about the people in our lives, whether it's friends, they should add value to us, right? It should add value to us. And what better value can one obtain when there's diversity, right? When you have diversity in your friendships, that is a value by itself, right? That is a value by itself to be able to look across like your dinner table if you have a birthday or like celebration and you see all your friends from different backgrounds that are diverse than you and you're able to learn about their culture and learn about their career path, learn about like their struggles, their resilience. It just produced something in you. So like the beauty of this is like very beneficial. Right, J Lo said it's way more beneficial since it helps to create more cultural and social awareness. Absolutely, right? It opens so many doors to have diversity in your friendship. Like I said, it's beautiful to be like, oh, I only want to be friends with these people, but like you're cheating yourself out of so much, right? In order to understand growth, you got to understand like the beauty of diversity. It produced that understanding of the growth in which you're seeking. So that's the second one. The other one I was able to do was communicate. Right? I think sometimes when we have change in our friendships, we forget that we can't communicate with these people. You know, like hypothetically, Jay Love and I are friends, and I noticed like she's busy with school. She has a lot on her plate. We haven't hung out in a while. Instead of me taking Jay Love being distant with me personally, I could be like, hey Jay, I noticed after a while we haven't connected lately, right? I can communicate with my friend because there's a change in her life that is happening. She's in school, she's a psych student, she's trying to get her degree, she's busy, right? And maybe I'm not in school, maybe I'm just working and not really, maybe I finished my schooling, right? And my girl is there trying to get her degree up too, right? I can't just take offense to that. I can communicate like, hey Jay, I know there's a change. Like it's been a couple of months. We haven't caught up. Let's go grab drinks. You know, let's try to do something, right? Let's try to navigate this change that is coming. I think communication is such an underrated skill when it comes to friendship. People expect your friends to read your mind. It doesn't work like that, right? I'm not expecting none of my friends to read my mind. Right? What they say, a closed mouth don't get fed. That's the honest truth. Even in friendships, that still apply in friendships. So if I know I'm struggling and I haven't seen my friend in a while because of school, I will communicate that with her. I can't take offense to that if I have not communicated that to her. You know, in friendship, we all have needs, right? It's like sometimes I just want to talk to my girl. Sometimes I just want to grab a drink, or sometimes I just want to go out to eat. But because of changes that is happening in her life, maybe there's like a medical change, family, marriage, school. I mean, there's a lot that can take form, right? There's a lot that can take form. And I think we underestimate the power of communication in friendships. It is so important to communicate with your friends. You know, if something changed, bring it up. If you have that friend where they're always willing to adjust or listen and see where they can meet you halfway, I think you should tell them. You should let them know, like, hey, friend, I love you, but these are some of the things I wanted us to talk about. I've been noticing a shift. I've been noticing some changes in our friendship. And how can we, like, get back on the same page or get back to speed, right? So number one, we talked about understanding the beauty of growth. Number two, we talked about the benefits of having diverse friendships. Number three, we talked about the power of communication. I hope you guys are making a list because there's 10. I have 3 tonight. I have 3 so far. Number 4, we're going to talk about maintaining respect, right? And it kind of goes hand to hand with that communication, right? You want to how do you navigate pushback or defensiveness depending on personality types? Well, I think this one is a little tricky because I think for one, when you're in friendships with people, you somewhat want to be compatible, right? I know we're not always friends with people that have the exact same personality type or traits as us, but there has to be a level of similarity there for it to actually balance. Opposite does attract in friendships, but I think similarities also should be a common factor as well. So, because when you're able to see similarities with it, it kind of limits the pushback or defensiveness as well. But also, if somebody is like constantly pushing back, constantly creating that defense line, sometimes for me, I always advocate for giving people space, because then it becomes like an internal problem and not an external, right? A lot of the things that people endured or deal with is more internal. It's like, oh, they're battling with something within themselves and they don't know how to communicate that. So they respond by pushing back or being very defensive, depending on, like you said, the personality traits or type. But after you have tried and there's like still like no pushback, like defensive pushback. Personally, I would just say give people space. In psychology or in therapy, there's a thing called the window of tolerance. Everybody have a window of tolerance, and the person that is trying does have their window of tolerance. The person that is pushing back does have their window of tolerance. So all of that got to be taken into consideration. So if somebody is pushing back or defensive, I would say after you have tried multiple times from a place of love, respect, and kindness, I would say just give them space. Give them space, and eventually, hopefully they come around and come out of it. That's what I would say. So number 4 is maintain respect, right? Respect is so big. It's so big. Like we all know, respect is not given, it is earned, right? And I hope when you have a friend, you both have earned each other respect, because respect is also like trust as well. Respect is love as well. So if I love my friend, I'm going to respect them. If you love someone, you're going to respect them. So respect is love. So please, so if you communicate with your friend, maintain that respect as well. Meaning if you communicate and they're letting you know some things, you want to maintain the respect. It's always good to express your feelings, but again, be respectful. I think sometimes too, frustrations or like agitations, when we haven't really been able to, if our friend haven't really shown up for us as we are intended or expected them to, we get a little like offended or defensive, and we become very like Jay was saying, very pushback or defensive. But please remember, like, kindness and respect goes a long way, even with our friends, because maybe they haven't shown up, maybe something shifted in their life and they haven't got the courage to tell you yet, right? This is where we're talking about communication again. Maybe something did shift and they're trying to figure out, okay, how do I tell my friend this thing that is happening in my life? And there's certain change that happen in people's life that it's so big, they don't know how to tell you. And they too also are trying to navigate that change, right? So as they're trying to navigate this change in the friendship, they too have to navigate this change that is happening with them, right? Like it's a change with them. Maybe the spouse passed away, or the parent, or their child is really ill, or they're pregnant. It's like a lot that takes place. So even though we are learning little tips to navigate this change with our friends, we also got to give that person grace that they too have to navigate this change within themselves as well. I think sometimes we forget that piece. It's like always a me. And sometimes never really about us, right? Everything is not always about us. We have to be able to understand, like, our friends are human beings. Yes, they care about us. Yes, they want to fix the changes that is happening in this friendship. But we also got to understand they too have to navigate that specific change that is happening as well. And they too got to go through the stages of acceptance and embracing it, just like you too as well, right? The other one, number 5, we would say empathy. Empathy is the same as respect for me. Empathy is really just putting yourself in the other person's shoes. That's like the simple gist of it. There's more to empathy, but there's just like, in summary, that's what empathy is. You know, when there is change in friendship, please give empathy. Like I just stated, just like you and this person is trying to navigate this change, trying to make understanding, trying to come to terms, trying to accept it, that person also is trying to come to terms, trying to accept it. So please give them empathy, and they should give you empathy as well. So empathy should be given as a two-way street. Number 6 is space. I think I answered this, also referenced Jay's question right here. Giving people space, right? Like I said previously, a lot of the time, there's a lot that people struggle with internally. There's a lot of internal struggles going on with people. And like Jay said previously, childhood issues is so big. What I've seen over the years, there are a lot of people that are friends, but they don't know how to talk about what they saw or experienced in childhood. So what I call it is that people are friends from the surface and not the root, right? Because when people are your friend from the root, they know like your childhood struggles, the traumas, and your triggers, and they're able to help you. Because as an adult, all of those shows up again, like Jay was saying earlier today, and they do. But a lot of the time, we don't know that. And space sounds weird. I know people be like, well, that's my best friend. I can give them space. You should. You should. Because like I said previously, that person is trying to understand what is happening in their world, while they're also trying to make you understand what is happening in their world. So it's two understanding taking place here, right? So some people function with space, and then some people function with other people around. Neither method is bad, right? So whenever you notice a change in your friend, start with number 1, understanding growth is a beautiful thing. Number 2, honoring the diversity in friendships, that it can be a diverse friendship with other people. Number 3, being able to communicate some of the changes that you see with your friends. Number 4, you want to maintain that respect always, because respect goes a long way. Number 5, you want to be empathetic to that person, because they're too trying to understand and you two are trying to understand, right? Number 6, I talked about giving people space. I think a lot of the time when we see change happening with our friends, we want to jump in and try to like be overbearing. Some people don't like that, right? Some people function better with that. Some people like, hey, I just need some time to think. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But you got to know your friend to know what to give, right? Number 7, I think this one I'm going to talk about a little bit lengthy. Be open to new friendships. Be open to new friendships. I get it. When you and someone have been friends for like ages and years, it's hard to be open, right? It's hard to be open. And it's like, hey, that person knows me so well. I know them so well. I don't want to change that friendship. I want to be open to them. I want to, I want to stay here. It's good, right? You should keep those friendships, but you also want to open yourself up to new friendship. Remember, we're talking about how to navigate changes within friendship tonight, right? When you open yourself up to new friendships, we talked about having diversity in friendships, right? That's a way of having diversity. You're not just like, oh, I'm just this person's friend. No, you should open yourself up, because you never know. You never know. You can still maintain this level of friendship with this person and add a new friend. Just because we're older doesn't mean we cannot have new friends. We can, right? We actually can have new friends. We actually can add to our friends. Remember, people should be adding value to you. So the new person that you're going to get to know should be able to add value to you. But be open to new friendships. Be open to new friendships. As you navigate the changes that come in friendships and that comes with friendships, I want you to take from this live tonight that it's okay to grow, and also it is okay to be open to new friendships. I think sometimes we get so stuck in this tunnel vision that this one friend that I've had for 12, 15, 30 years, I need to keep. You can keep that and also add to that, right? So you want to be open to new friendships and not limit yourself, because truth be told, there's so much benefit when you expand your horizon when it comes to friendships. That diversity is a beautiful thing. Having a new friend is a beautiful thing. Number 8. So it says, same thing. It's kind of like taking the initiative to talk to new people. Same thing as being open to new friendships. So it's the same. Taking the initiative to meet new people and stuff like that. Hold on. We have a question, y'all. So Janice said, what if you're open to a new friendship but also scared because of past trauma? Absolutely. And that is okay, right? It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be scared, but it's not okay to live in that fear, right? Because the thing with trauma, it overshadows everything if you allow it. I think a lot of the time there's so much power we have, but we don't think we have it. So when we say we're scared of something, we're giving that thing more power than it needs to have. So I would say in this situation, one thing I would recommend is that when you go to this new friendship, set a boundary for yourself, right? If you're a person that lacks boundaries, establish that. Or as you're building this friendship, talk about things that you will expect in your friendship. What are some expectations you have in friendships, or what do you desire in a friend, right? And ask this person too, like, what do you desire? If those two desires have alignment, give it a shot. Nothing is perfect, but I wouldn't want you to cheat yourself out of a good friend simply because of fear, because fears will limit you in so many areas of your life. And remember when I said in the beginning of this live that understanding growth is a beautiful thing, because change is good. Hopefully, Janice, that answered your question, ma'am. Okay, so J Love said, what about navigating a person who is possessive out of fear? I think one thing we can start with, it would be understanding the root of that fear and then that possession. So everything has a root, right? And I think you said it before. Oh, you're welcome, Miss Janice. You're welcome. So everything has a root, right? So in order to understand why that person is so possessive, let's trace the root. And 9 out of 10, if you trace the root, there's a history of why they are the way they are, right? So if a person is so possessive out of fear, that means something tragically happened in that childhood that caused their brain to get in that thing. Remember, Jay, you said that we're wired neurologically, probably saying it wrong, that we're wired to have these mindset and thoughts. So if we're already wired, and as a young child, something transpired in your life that causes that possession to create this possession out of fear, which is a trauma response, then we got to trace that back, right? I think navigating that would be asking that person, like, hey, like, did something happen in your life at a young age that X, Y, and Z, or do you remember the time where X, Y, and Z, and see what they say, right? But in order to navigate that, we got to go back to the root of the problem, and that root is in our childhood. Once we can pin it from that childhood, then we can come back to the adulthood, and then the navigation process begin. If that answered the question. You're welcome. But yes, so that was number 8, taking an initiative to talk to new people, same as building new friendship. And then number 9, I'm gonna just put Janice's question back up here. Stay positive, right? I think there's so much beauty in being optimistic. A lot of the time, like Janice said, that because of past hurt, past trauma from friends, it's hard to be positive when you meet new people. And you're right. I mean, that is an honest feeling. That is an honest truth. And I'm glad that we own that. But positivity goes a long way. You never know, right? Nobody has the same thing. Maybe that person was just not your person. And maybe this person might be your person. In friendships, we have our person, right? It sounds weird, but we do. We have the friends that just understands us, that gets us, and then we have some friends that were just down on the road to ride the bandwagon. Either is fine because they all teach us something, right? But I think being able to stay positive and be optimistic that you will find there are some good people out there. I know friendship trauma is such a thing, y'all. I'm working through mine. I'm gonna say it on this app tonight. I'm working through mine. I'm getting open to meeting new people. Sometimes I'm a little bit hesitant because people be too much, but friendship trauma is a thing. It's a thing, and I love that Janice is sharing and owning it, and it's a thing. I feel like a lot of people take their old problem and bring it to the new friendship, so that's why it doesn't even work out. But be positive. You never know. I think give people grace, because you never know. You never know. Like, you never know. You might meet a person today and they might just show up in so many ways that you've never seen it, right? And you might have a person for 10 years that never even showed up once in your life of anything. So it's always good to be open to people, and be positive about it as well, because you never know. And then the last one would just say seek support, right? Seek support. If you have a friend, there's changes going on, you're trying to understand, like, what is going on in this girl's world? Like, I haven't seen them, we haven't talked, and I'm struggling. You should be able to seek support. If you have like close family, friends, like close family, just be like, hey, I noticed I have a friend, I just feel like things has changed between us. And you just, kind of just going through those steps, like talking to them, finding ways you guys can meet, maybe trying to find ways to like rekindle your friendships. People talk about rekindling their love life, but you can rekindle your friendships, right? Because friendships is so important, y'all. And I think sometimes people are easily dismissive of it because they don't know how to navigate like the change that comes with their friends, and understanding like all of these change are okay. And it's normal. It's normal because as human, we should be changing. We should be evolving. We should be growing. We should be expanding our horizon. We should just be growing like little, what are those little sunflowers or butterflies? What do you want to call it? We should grow. Right. So I think as a person, if you're around people and you're not growing, or you're scared that this person's changing and you're like, no, I don't want them to change, they have to. Right. They have to, because change produces growth. And if in order to grow, we must change and we must accept the change. And that is the honest truth. So those are some of the ways we can navigate friendships. I know I've been giving my little 10 tips. But if you're in the comments, Jay and Janice, if you guys want to drop some other ways that people can navigate the change in friendships that I probably missed, that would be so great. Since we're all like beautifully chatting, what are some beautiful ways that you think people can navigate a change in friendships that maybe I could add on my list? Those are the ones that pop up in my head when I was waiting to get on this live tonight. But I would love to hear from the audience, like, what are some ways that when change is happening, like, you're able to like navigate that with your friend? Do you end the friendship right away? Are you like dismissive? Are you like what are you doing? Like, when you notice like there has been a change in your friendships, right? Because I mean, all of us agreed tonight that change does happen. And as we get older, it's like we're changing. You have your friends from high school, and then you get in your adulthood. You barely see them because everybody got to work. Everybody got like a career, or they have kids, or some got married and have a whole family. So you don't get to see them no more. Back then you guys could hang out all day, but now you barely can hang out. So how do you like just navigate in that? What are some other tips you ladies have that can share with me? If there's any. Change. Navigate a change. Should we ask Google what are some of like the common things they see? Okay, let's see. It says, oh, there's a therapy shift. Let's see. Okay, So there's an article that talks about the art of adapting, right? I think that's beautiful. I think a lot of the time, which is what we said, understanding growth. I think a lot of the time we forget that there's so much beauty in adapting to new things, new friends, new culture, whether it's through diversity or just meeting new people. There's so much beauty in these things, but because we're so wired to be opposed to change, or we're so wired to be like, it makes it like you don't even want to like give it a shot. But if you're on this app tonight, you're watching this live, or you're gonna go back and listen to it, I want to encourage you to be open to change. Change has been a blessing to my life, even though when I was growing up, I struggled with it. Like that was one thing I really, really struggled with. I don't like change. I don't like a change in my schedule. And I felt like I think this year I have worked on this so much because at my job, every day something changes. Like I would do something for like 3 weeks and it comes week number 4, it's different. So I think maybe there was a way that God was teaching me to be more open to change than anywhere, because at my job, right, where everything is, people do the same things, repeatedly. Not me. And every day I get there after a couple of weeks, they're like, oh, this one has to change. And I'm like, I just learned it. And they're like, nope, not anymore. Right. So I've been learning for the past months, going into a year, the beauty of adapting to change and being ready to adapt. Because to be honest, the world we find ourselves in today, we have to know how to adapt. Right. I think adaptation is such an important skill to learn. And I'm going to come back to your childhood again. Right. If you have kids, teach them how to adapt accordingly, because the world is not rigid. Right. Everything in the world is not like this. It's not like this. We can create our personal space like that, but the world is not like that. So this is your personal space. This is the world, right? This is bigger than this. So just to let you know how crazy it is. So we can create a rigid schedule, a rigid organizational pattern or style, whatever you want to call it. But you also want to be able to adapt, right? Adapt, because remember, this is your world. This is the world we're in. Your world, the world we're in. So it's 2 different circles, 2 different spaces, right? And it's a lot going on. And the real world, we don't have, there's a lot of things out of our control. So there's a lot of changes that's going to take place that we have no control over. So we got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to understand that it is okay for these things to take place. Even sometimes if that change doesn't come with a full, complete understanding, but understanding that it is okay, it's going to work out, right? It's going to work out. It's going to work out. It always work out. It's just sometimes because our brain is so wired to be opposed. It's like, heck no, this thing is not going to work out. I'm going to die. I just know it. I'm going to die. And it's like, then you get done with whatever it is. Like, oh, I didn't even die. I'm fine. I made it. I'm good. So be open to change. Change is a beautiful thing. Change helps us grow. When there's change in friendship, that means the friendship has to grow. It can grow together, or we can grow separate. That's what is being introduced. So with these basic navigation skills, it makes navigating change easy. Be open to it, be communicative, be open to the concept of having diversity in your friend group, creating that if you don't have it, and then also just communicating, right? Communicating like, hey, friend, I noticed this past weeks we've been this. Is everything okay? If they say, yeah, I'm dealing with something, give them space, right? Because sometimes people deal with something. Everybody have different processing level. Everybody have different window of tolerance. Everything that you think you have 100, some people, not everybody have 100% of that, right? So this is where that empathy comes back into play. I might be able to process things like this, and some people might take a couple days. Right? And that's okay. No, one way is not better than the other. It's just how one's brain works, and that's okay. Everybody have processing time. Everybody take time to process, and that is okay. Okay? So we only have like 10 minutes left on this live tonight. If you have any questions, you're free to put it in the comment. If you have any extra tips to navigate the change that come in friendships. Please put it in the comment as well. But one thing I must say tonight, I love to see people evolved, right? I love to see my friends evolved, people of my interest. Let me use that term today, evolve. There's a lot of people that's not of my interest. And there's a lot of people that are of my interest, but I love to see them change it for the better, right? Like for the better, like evolve, change in like a career path, change in like getting married, change like having a kid, change like moving away, change like traveling more. It's just such a beautiful thing to see when I see people like navigating the changes of life and just going about it. It's like, wow, you navigate that so well, right? Even if they cry about it, but they're still navigating it and they're still doing the possible best to make sure that change is being accepted and is taking place and they're going about their day. So I love to see people evolved. And we can only evolve if we accept change. And that is the honest truth. We can only evolve when change is accepted. We can only evolve when we are open to change. We have to be open. The key word is open to change. Open to change, because I think the real world it don't give you an option to be open or closed, if we're being honest on this app today. The world we find ourselves, the president is not coming to ask you what's your opinion if you want to change this. They're just going to do it, right? But in your personal life, we do have that space where we can say, do I want to or do I not want to? And then we can make a decision to accept that change or not. But in the real world, we don't. So kind of being mindful of that as well. But if you all, everybody's like paused. It is Friday. I know Fridays after work are always a lot. People have to get ready for the weekend. People get ready for work tomorrow. I just want to say I'm going to end pretty early tonight. It is Friday. I'm a little exhausted, but I'm going to end early tonight. But before I depart tonight, I just want to say thank you all for joining me on Social Segment tonight with Winn. I really appreciate the engagement. I appreciate the comments. I just want you to know that change is possible and change is a beautiful thing, and it should be embraced. I know sometimes we have been wired and conditioned to believe that change is hard. Change is, it's not a good thing, which is true. All of those things are true. They're all facts about change, but change is a beautiful thing, because with change, one is accepted and embraced. It allows us to grow, right? It allows us to shed like new skins, new layers, and produce a new version of ourselves. That only takes place when change is accepted and welcome in our lives. I want to say thank you guys. Have a good night. Happy Friday. Take care. Bye.